evaluate the integral of sine squared 3t times cosine squared 3t dt times cosine squared 3t dt. Notice that this time both m and n are even, so we make use of the following trigonometric identities. The identity given by sine squared of x equals 1 minus cosine of 2x over 2, and the other identity should give us cosine squared of x equals 1 plus cosine of 2x over 2. Remember the mnemonic device that I gave you? Notice that you have the same quantities except for the negative and the positive sign. So just take a look that if you have sine squared, there is an n here, then you make use of the negative value here. Okay, so that's a mnemonic device. Now, we have to rewrite this. So we have the solution now would be as follows. That is the integral of sine squared 3t times cosine squared 3t dt equals, so you rewrite sine squared 3t as the integral now of 1 minus cosine of 60 all over 2. Why 60? Because we have 3t here, and that should give us 2 times 3 should give us 6 because you have 2x, right? And then cosine squared of 3t should be rewritten as 1 plus cosine of 60. That's supposed to be 60 over 2. Again, you have 1 plus cosine of 2x because you have 3t there. So you have to multiply it by 2. You have 60. So you have dt. Let me just enclose this in a box so that you'll be able to recall these trigonometric identities. So that should now give us, notice that you have over 2 here and over 2. So that's a constant, so you can take that out as 1/4. And you have, what is left here is 1 minus cosine of 60. Okay. And because this is 1 minus cosine of 60, 1 plus cosine of 60, you can make use of your special product formula. So that should be 1 minus cosine squared of 60. So cosine squared of 60 dt. You can recall that if we have 1 minus u times 1 plus u, that's equal to 1 minus u squared. Okay, so that's what happens here. 1 minus our u is cosine of 60. So 1 minus cosine squared of 60 dt. So that becomes, you can distribute 1/4 and evaluate the integral of this. So 1/4, oops, what's 1/4? My eraser doesn't look good, so I make use of the eraser. Ayaw mag-erase. Eraser. Okay. There you are. Erase na. Ayaw lang pala ganon. We can rewrite that as 1/4 integral of this 1 dt. So dt minus You can distribute the 1/4. So 1/4 integral of cosine squared of 60 dt. But again, this is an even exponent. So you can make use again of 1 plus cosine of 2x over 2. So the integral of 1/4 dt, 1/4 integral dt is 1/4 t minus, we have 1/4, that's supposed to be t, 1/4, the integral of cosine squared of 60 can be rewritten as 1 plus cosine of 12t, because that's 2x, so 6, so you have 12t all over 2, okay, dt, that's supposed to be dt, and that should be 1/4, that's equal to 1/4 t minus 1/4 times this is supposed to be 1/2. So you have 1/8 integral of, you can distribute already this one, so 1/8 dt plus, that's a minus because minus a plus is a minus. Again, that is 1/8 integral of cosine of 12t dt. Cosine of 12t dt. But again, we can rewrite this time this value as 1/4 t minus, we can integrate dt. Can integrate dt as 1/8 integral of dt is t minus 1/8. So this is, if you let your u sub 1 here to be equal to 12t, then your du sub 1 should be equal to 12 dt. Okay, but because we only have dt here, that should be your du sub 1 over 12 is equal to your dt. So we can replace this as 1/8 integral of cosine of u, cosine of u sub 1, and your dt is replaced by du sub 1 over 12. Du sub 1 over 12. So that should give us 1/4 t minus 1 over 8 t minus, okay, notice that you have 8 and 12 there. What is the integral of sine? It's supposed to be negative cosine. So integral of cosine is positive sine. So because there is a minus there, so you have 1 over 8 times 12. Let's take out the constant. So cosine is positive sine. So you have sine of 12t. Okay, plus c. Now, what would be the final answer? The final answer would then be, you have to rewrite this as t over 8. You will have, from there, you have 2. Remember that you have your 1/4 t minus 1/8 t minus 1 over 8 times 12 sine of 12t plus c. Okay, so when you try to simplify this, that becomes, okay, this 4a and 8. The LCD is 8. So 8, and then you have 8 by 4 is 2. So you have 2 minus 8 by 1, so 1. 2 minus 1, you have there t minus 1 over 96, okay, sine 12t plus c. In other words, the final answer will be t over 8 minus sine 12t over 96 plus c. So that's the value for the integral of sine squared 3t cosine squared of 3t. Cosine squared of 3t dt. Cosine squared of 3t dt. The final answer is this one. Okay, so we are done. Is it? Doesn't look good. Let me just rewrite this so that it will. Let me just write this one. Ayusin ko lang ang pagkasulat para clear. So we know that the final answer is equal to, it's not negative, it's equal to positive. So, diba? Let me erase. Let me just write that as, so that's a value that's equal to value. That is equal to, oops, ayaw. Okay, kailan pa malapit na tayo matapos. Tapusin ko na lang ha. Ayan. That is, let me write sine squared 3t cosine squared. Cosine squared of 3t dt. Okay, so that's the answer. That's t over 8 minus sine 12t over 96 plus c.